Technology in education has always been a balancing act. From chalkboards to computers, from calculators to tablets, every new tool brings both excitement and uncertainty. Each time something new enters the classroom, the same questions rise to the surface. Will it help students learn? Will it make teachers' jobs harder? And, maybe most of all, what happens to the rudimentary fundamentals of learning when technology takes a bigger role? Now enter AI, the latest chapter in that long story. For some, it's thrilling, a chance to create, explore, and make education more accessible than ever. For others, it's unsettling, an unknown force that feels too powerful too fast, maybe even a little too risky. But the truth is, AI might not be the end of learning as we know it. It might just be the beginning of learning differently, more creatively, more reflectively, and more collaboratively than ever before. I'm Matt Stessner, and you're listening to Now at Ohio State. We talk with researchers, innovators, and bold thinkers who look at our world, see what the real challenges are, and create solutions that people need now. Continuing our AI series, in this episode, we're talking about how artificial intelligence is transforming the way we teach and the way we learn. Ana-Paula Correia is the director of the Center on Education and Training for Employment at The Ohio State University. She's also the Ted and Lois Seifert Distinguished Professor in the College of Education and Human Ecology. Additionally, Ana-Paula has more than 25 years of experience in learning design and instructional systems technology. Here, she talks with our Franny Lazarus about what AI really means for education, how it can be used ethically and creatively, how it parallels past innovations like the scientific calculator, and how open dialogue between teachers, parents, and students can turn apprehension into understanding.
Ana-Paula, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're very welcome.
Let's start with having you introduce yourself to our audience.
Oh, my name is Ana-Paula Correia. I'm a professor of learning technologies at the College of Education and Human Ecology. It happens that I'm also the director for the Center on Education Training for Employment.
If I could start with a general question about AI. There are some people who think we should be welcoming AI with open arms, and there are other people who think we should be treating it with caution. What's your view?
I would say my view is a happy medium between these two perspectives. AI in general and generative AI in particular should be embraced, especially in the field of education, not as a new technology that will solve all the problems in education training, but as an innovation that requires some experimentation and deep reflection. I think that's part of what we're doing today, is reflect and discuss about these issues in order for us to use AI in a responsible and ethical way.
You mentioned the scientific calculator as a piece of technology that was introduced and received a lot of concern. What were people worried about with those calculators?
They were worried about that students will not learn math in the way that they've been taught or they think it's important to use. They were so worried about there was protests outside on the streets.
For calculators.
For scientific calculator in the mid-70s. And the fear was that, our children are not going to learn math anymore because the scientific calculator will do it for them. Similar to the fear that people are now discussing about ChatGPT, which is a generative AI tool. One of many of us know about it. Like, now we have ChatGPT. Our children are now going to learn how to write and to think for themselves. Similar fear. And actually, the math teachers were masters on introducing the scientific calculator into their curriculum. So we can maybe look at the example and become masters of integrating generative AI in our curriculum.
We've talked about using AI critically. What does that look like if you're, as you said, a power user? How do you use AI responsibly?
The way I see it or the way I describe it is as someone that has control over technology, but also as the duty to use it for the public good. And in terms of AI ethical use, it's just like avoid the misuse of that technology, particularly in the education, because education and training is what I'm talking about. So if an educator uses a tool like that to identify AI-generated text and penalize a student, it can be a misuse because the student might have written the whole piece by themselves. It's just the detector is not sophisticated enough to identify that it was created by humans and it was not generated by AI. The problem is that those detectors are just pieces of software. They are imperfect because this whole thing is moving pretty quickly.
Yes.
So this, in my view, is a misuse. Then I think there's other ways more ethical to address that issue, like talking with the student, having an honest conversation about the creator of that piece of text, then rely exclusively on a tool. So we have a tool to create text, and now we have a tool to detect if the text is created by the machine. It just gets very cyclical.
That's a great example. I think then it would be hypocritical, would it not, to say to students, do not use this device to create text. We will be using a similar device to check to see if you've done that. How can you tell the student to not do one thing and then do it yourself?
Yes, and both are not that great.
Right.
Compared to the human creativity and the students' ingenuity.
Well, and as you said, open dialogue with your students, trusting them.
And maybe it's time for us to design our assignments in a different manner.
Say more about that. Just when you're designing an assignment, how would you design it differently now?
I'm very fortunate because I teach an applied topic. I teach instruction design and in applied context. So an instruction designer can help a teacher solve a problem in their classroom, or instruction designer can create online module to teach adult learners a specific topic of their interest or of criticality, like when it was COVID-19, for instance, ways to prevent contracted disease can be created. My field is applied. So I'm fortunate to ask my students, we are learning this in class, now go and apply on this project. And I see how they applied. They write reports about that application because it takes about a semester to showcase a final product. And we work with real-world clients. They come to our class and they have professional level work without any payment involved because the students are in training. So there's no way ChatGPT can do that for them.
Okay.
Because they have a very contextual-based problem, a client that they have to communicate with, and a final report that ChatGPT can refine. For instance, I found the tool, ChatGPT in particular, very useful for non-native English speakers like myself, because now it's like I don't have to be doubting about myself because I can just say, check the grammar.
Smart.
And then the outcome from the tool can be something like, oh, there's not much to correct here, but there's a few tweaks you can do to make your writing more polished. I just feel so happy with that feedback. But it's my writing.
Right.
And now it's more polished. And I'm so proud of me that I can deliver better product. I encourage my students to use it to refine their reports and to prepare final presentations. It's a tool like a microphone. So why not using it?
I want to make sure I've understood this, that what your goal for use of AI is, I'm still doing the original work, I'm doing the creative work, the thinking, and then I use the AI, the generative technology, to polish and check that work. The content is still mine, but someone else has gone and sort of softened the rough edges.
Exactly, because we have helpers in our household. We have the washing machine, the vacuum cleaner, right? So, I know the washing machine is an awesome invention because It frees me up to do my writing, to do my reading,
Got
to
it.
have time to rest and
Sure.
find my balance, to meet with my students. So I look at these AI tools, and I call them tools intentionally, as some gadgets we can use to free us up to do more creative stuff.
Parents, teachers, and students, how can they be in dialogue together to talk about AI to remove some of that stigma and fear of cheating? What's your best foot forward?
Again, I cannot speak for all the teachers and all the parents, but I can speak from my perspective as a professor in the field, as a mother, and as a teacher as well. And again, I don't think we're talking about new things here. We've had these conversations before with our children, with anything that could relate with dishonesty, academic dishonesty. So this is all about the values, and now we bring them up. And also the concept of what is learning. So if learning is something that I'm going to do because I'm passionate about my development, I want to grow personally as well as professionally, push my limits, get out of my comfort zone like I'm doing today. So whatever comes across, it could be AI, it could be scientific calculators, it could be other kinds of gadgets. The conversation is always the same. Why are we going to school? Why we need to learn? Why is this important to you? It's all about the principle. So if the principle is I'm going to school to learn, and I'm going to use the tools that I have at my disposal to help me grow, okay, so the parents can talk about that. But thinking about, let's not let our students use ChatGPT, but myself as a teacher, I would use it extensively. So we not being real with ourselves by saying one thing to our students that look up to us, trust us, and believe us, and doing something in the back. So let's not do that. Same with parents. Parents, get on board, learn a little about that. So my job as educator is creating some education materials so parents at schools can learn as well as teachers. Talk with your children and your students and your teenagers about it, like you did talk about crossing a street safely or using online systems to learn. I just don't want to make it special, because in my view, it's not special. Just one more thing is in front of us. Let's embrace it, but also be critical and talk with our students and with our children about that, because cheating or not cheating is not new, and it's a moral standard. Of course, there's going to be people that are going to cheat, but it's going to be a minority, and then we deal with those cases one by one. But let's not put everyone in the same bucket.
Sure. Ana-Paula, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a really fun conversation.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Education has always evolved alongside technology. Once it was the pencil, then the calculator. Now it's AI. And like every tool before it, how we use it matters the most. As Ana-Paula reminds us, these systems don't replace curiosity. They have the ability to enhance it. They can free us to think deeper, write better, and focus on what truly makes learning meaningful. Because education isn't about mastering new tools. It's about mastering ourselves, our creativity, our ethics, our sense of purpose. And if we can do that with intention and openness, AI won't be a threat to learning. It'll be its next great partner. Now at Ohio State is produced by The Ohio State University. For more information, visit us at go.osu.edu/now. I'm your host, Matt Stessner. Thanks for listening.